That's almost 5.
Agent Strozk, in earlier round, you said you never talked to Glenn Simpson, right?
Correct.
And you never talked to Nellie Orr.
Correct.
And you wouldn't say whether you knew if Nellie Orr worked for Fusion. Is that correct?
My understanding from my direction of the FBI is I'm not permitted to answer that question.
Okay. But you did say you talked with Bruce Orr, fellow Department of Justice employee, and Nellie Orr's husband.
Yes.
But it is common knowledge that Nellie Orr worked for Fusion in the summer of 2016. Is that right?
I don't know if it's common knowledge or not.
It's been in all kinds of reports.
Well, it is
all kinds of
absolutely.
Press reports. All right. You met with Bruce Orr in 2016 and 2017, so the time period that we're focused on.
To the best of my recollection, yes.
All right. And you won't tell me what you guys talked about?
Sir, I can tell you we talked about operational matters that he was involved in, but the FBI has directed me not to give you,
specifically, you can't get into specifics and details. Did Bruce Orr give you any documents?
Sir, same answer. I would like to answer that question, but the FBI has directed me not to get into...
You can't... My understanding is, Mr. Chairman, the discussions we've had with the FBI, he's allowed to tell us those kind of pieces of information. I'm not asking what the documents were. I'm just asking, did Bruce Orr ever hand you documents?
I understand full well what your question is, sir, and I would love to answer it. My understanding from the FBI is when it comes to operational details, including whether or not we collected evidence or didn't, that I'm not permitted to answer that. I would love to answer that question. All these...
I mean, you understand where I'm coming from, right, Agent Strozk?
Sir, I understand your frustration, and what I'm here to tell you is I think the answers would...
You understand... Yeah, you understand. We got an email from you briefing everybody on the team, all the key players, Rabicki, Baker, Page, Maffa, Priestep, and Andy McCabe. And in that email, you say the dossier that you are now looking at that BuzzFeed is printing has differences from the one given to us by Korn and Simpson. Earlier today, I asked you who Korn and Simpson is, and you wouldn't answer that. It's kind of funny to me because yesterday, David Korn tweeted out, he's the Korn in your email. So the guy himself's identified himself. We all know it's David Korn, and then the other name is Simpson. So you have this, and we're wondering how the dossier got to, or if, more importantly, if the dossier got to the FBI through media sources, not just through Christopher Steele. And of course, we know Nellie Orr worked for the guy you're mentioning, Glenn Simpson. She worked for him the whole time. You've never had conversations with her, but you did have a lot of important conversations on operational matters and ongoing investigations with her husband, Bruce Orr, who's also happened to be reassigned at the Department of Justice. And I'm just wondering, and you said that, well, you won't answer the question whether Mr. Orr has given you documents or not. So I'm just wondering if that was the route. Was that the route?
You just had to write that down.
Glenn
he wasn't prepared. Let's go.
Orr, to her husband, and then to you.
Sir,
that's my frustration.
I understand your question. I understand your frustration. I understand the absurdity of something produced that you're reading that I've been directed not to answer questions about. The best I can tell you, I would like to answer you, and I'm afraid it's an answer that would both reassure you and disappoint you.
Well, we're going to be asking, I think, Mr. Chairman, it's okay with you, we're going to be asking the FBI and the Department of Justice to give us those documents that may or may not have been exchanged between Mr. Orr and Agent Strozk. I think that's something this committee would like to have and see what those, if in fact there were documents, what the heck they were. I got a minute. I'll yield it to...
Sir, you're going to love this and it's going to upset the vote. I have been instructed that the FBI has now told me that I can answer questions about the receipt of the documents. So I will defer, Mr. Chairman, if you would like to hear that or take your vote.
The gentleman may proceed with his questions and you may answer.
May I confer with counsel briefly to see if this is completely unbounded or if there are any limitations on what I may say?
Well, I got a lot of questions I've asked all day long.
Let's ask the one you've been told you can answer.
All right, so let's hear the answer to this one.
Which question, sir?
The one that's on the table about the documents.
Sir, the documents were received from a different source in the initial batch in mid-September.
Wait. No. I'm not understanding. You said you got... Go back. Did you get documents from Bruce Orr?
Yes. At some point, we received material from Mr. Orr.
You got documents from Bruce Orr. And what were those documents?
We received documents from Mr. Orr, not me. Excuse me, sir.
I can maybe make it simpler. Agent Strozk, was it the dossier?
Sir, what I am authorized to tell you, in response to a question, did you receive any documents from Bruce Orr, the FBI has directed me that I may say, not me, the FBI received documents and material from Mr. Orr.
Did you? I appreciate that. I appreciate that. But you did not from Mr. Orr?
No.
Okay. But the FBI did get documents from Bruce Orr?
Yes, sir.
Did they get the dossier from Bruce Orr?
My direction from the FBI is I may tell you the FBI received material from Mr. Orr.
Now, this is amazing. This is amazing. So Nellie Orr,
as you are.
Nellie Orr works for Fusion, works for Glenn Simpson, and she's giving documents.
Regular order, please. Let us bring the director of the FBI to answer those questions. The gentleman cannot answer.
Well,
he asked and answered.
The American people.
He asked and answered. He cannot answer.
The gentlewoman.
That's our director.
The regular order is.
I understand, Mr. Chairman. Regular order.
The FBI has now instructed Mr. Strozk that he can answer additional questions, and Mr.
Agent Strozk, I asked
Gordon
him other
has
questions.
additional time to get the answers to those questions
He's
that
going
earlier
beyond the
restored
scope
to
of what the FBI approved.
Has the FBI also given you permission to say if Glenn Simpson is the name that you use when in the email where you say Simpson?
I don't believe they have given me guidance. My most recent understanding of my guidance from the FBI is in response to the question of whether the FBI received documents from
Has the FBI
Orr.
given you,
The answer is that yes, we did, and
has
that's
the FBI
all I'm
given you,
authorized to
has
say.
the FBI given you information to tell me whether you knew Nellie Orr worked for Fusion at the time you were meeting with her husband?
Sir, to my knowledge, the FBI has not directed me to or allow me to respond to that.
All right. I yield back. Thank you.
The committee will stand in recess until immediately after this series of votes.
Wow, well, that was Peter Strozk, the FBI agent.